something. A single hug has made me wetter than a kiss. It sounds shocking, but it's true. Women have left boyfriends, cheated on lovers, and obsessed over men who never even slept with them, all because of a single touch, one hand placement, one slow draw-in, and suddenly she can't stop thinking about him. Most men hug like friends, flat, safe, forgettable. But the man who understands the psychology of touch doesn't just hug her, he imprints on her. He leaves a mark her body remembers, long after her mind tries to forget. I know because I felt it. My friends whisper about it, and the woman you're thinking of right now, she's probably felt it too. A hug can be innocent, or it can be the beginning of an obsession. There are 13 psychological secrets that transform a hug from ordinary to unforgettable. And number 9, that's the one we can't resist because it makes us crave you even when you're not there. Trick number 1, the slow draw in. The first secret is called the slow draw in. Every woman feels it instantly. The difference between a man who grabs her into a hug and the one who pulls her in slow, calm, steady. When a man rushes, it feels desperate, like he's afraid she'll slip away. But when he draws her in with patience, like he already knows she'll follow, her body melts without permission. This patience doesn't just feel confident, it feels dominant. And that's the difference between being liked and being remembered. Psychologically, women are hypersensitive to pacing. Fast movements signal nervousness or neediness. Slow movements signal certainty, control, grounded masculinity. When a man doesn't rush to close the space, he communicates that he owns it. He's not asking permission. He's guiding her into his frame, the psychological territory of masculine presence. I remember once one guy pulled me in so fast, it felt like he was clinging. My body froze. But another man, he just placed his hand softly on my arm, waited, let me come closer. That second hug, it melted me. My breath slowed. My chest opened against his, and without a word, my body said, yes, here's your rule. Never yank, never lunge. Guide. Place your hand gently. Apply calm pressure. Let her lean in naturally. Because when you set the pace, she feels safe. And safety is what unlocks desire. So move slower than you think you should. Breathe slower than you normally do. Because when you slow down the moment, she'll replay it faster in her head later. Trick number 2, the lower back claim. There's a reason women melt when a man's hand rests on her lower back. It doesn't feel friendly. It feels protective, possessive. It says, you're safe with me and you're mine. That one touch flips a switch we can't hide. The psychology is primal. The lower back is a vulnerable zone, close to the hips, exposed. When your hand claims that space, you tap into ancient instinct, leadership, strength, safety. Most men stay high, shoulders, upper back, where it feels polite, forgettable. But the man who confidently guides her lower back, he stands out instantly. I've felt it. One man hugged me high and tight around the shoulders, safe but sexless. Another's hand rested low and firm, and my knees nearly buckled. I thought about it for hours, not because it was dirty, but because it felt charged. Here's your rule. Guide her lower back, not too low, not grabbing, just firm and calm. That placement tells her she's with a man, not a boy. And when she feels that, she doesn't forget. But once she's close, where you place your hand next, decides everything. Trickster 3, the release delay. Most men destroy the moment without even realizing it. They hug, pat twice, and pull away like it's a business transaction. To a woman, that feels cold. forgettable, like you couldn't wait to escape. But the man who holds for just 1 second longer than expected, he creates electricity that won't leave her body. Psychology explains it like this. Women are wired to detect timing. We expect a hug to last a certain length. When you break that rhythm, our body reacts. If you let go too soon, it feels like rejection. If you hold just a beat longer, it feels like desire. That extra second forces us to wonder, did I want more? Was he feeling me? Why didn't the let go right away? That's how obsession begins. I've lived it. One man hugged politely and let go immediately. I forgot it in minutes. Another held a second longer, just long enough that I had to decide if I wanted to pull away. And I didn't. My mind spun for hours. I replayed it in bed that night. That pause haunted me. Here's your rule. Don't cling. Don't smother. Don't grip. Hold just a beat longer than normal. Then release calmly. That tiny delay feels like unspoken desire. And once she feels that, she'll replay the moment until it burns itself into her memory. Trick number 4, the neck-to-cheek brush. There's one place on a woman's body where time stops. It's not the lips. It's not her waist. It's the side of her neck. Every woman knows that own moment when a hug feels ordinary, until suddenly his cheek brushes against hairs, or his breath grazes the side of her neck. That small, almost accidental touch. It's lethal. It bypasses logic and slips straight into the nervous system. Her breath catches. Her pulse skips. And for a second, her body reacts before her mind can stop it. A shiver crawls down her spine. Goosebumps rise. Warmth spreads low in her stomach. And now she's trapped in the thought, why did that feel so different? The psychology is simple but powerful. The neck is one of the most sensitive zones in the female body. Intimate, exposed, and rich with nerve endings that respond to warmth, proximity, and breath when your face lingers close. Not too close, not creepy, but calm and confident. You awaken something primal. Most men avoid it out of fear. They don't want to cross a line. But the man who understands presence doesn't need to cross anything. He just lets the moment breathe close enough for her to feel his warmth, and then he pulls away, leaving her imagination on fire. That single brush of skin creates a loop in her head. Cher plays it. She wonders what would have happened if you hadn't pulled back. And imagination, not touch, is what creates obsession. I remember it vividly. A man's hugged me cheek to cheek, nothing more. But I went home burning. I caught myself touching the spot where his breath had been. It was nothing, yet it felt like everything. Another man hugged me the same way, but kept his distance. It was safe, polite, and I forgot it within minutes. Here's your rule. Let your face get close naturally. Let the warmth of your skin graze hers. Breathe steady, slow, grounded, then pull back as if nothing happened. Because when you act like it meant nothing, she's the one who will convince herself it meant everything. Trick number 5. Silent hug energy. Most men ruin everything with words. They hug and immediately start talking. You smell nice. I missed you. Or worse, a nervous joke that kills the charge instantly. The second you speak, the spell breaks. But the man who hugs in complete silence, who holds her without a word, that man creates tension, so thick she can barely breathe, because silence forces the imagination to speak. I remember a man who did this once. Just a soft glide of his hand as he pulled away. It wasn't sexual. It wasn't obvious, but my breath caught. And hours later, I could still feel it. Another man hugged me the same day. Stiff, still robotic. I forgot him before I even turned away. That's how small the difference is, but how massive the impact becomes. Here's your rule. Don't be rigid. Don't freeze. When you release, move with intention. Let your hand slide across her shoulder as you pull back. Slow, soft, deliberate. That lingering motion tells her body the huge isn't over, even when it is. And that ghost touch is what her skin will remember long after you're gone. Trick number 7. The contrast of firm and gentle. Every woman secretly wants both. She wants to feel your strength, but she also wants to feel your tenderness. And here's where most men fail. They choose one. They're either too soft, which feels weak, unsure, hesitant, or they're too firm, which feels aggressive, performative, like they're trying to prove something. But the man who understands contrast, the one who blends power with softness, he creates a hug that doesn't just feel good, it melts her. Psychologically, this is called dual emotional activation. Her body experiences two opposites at once, safety and tension. That contrast confuses the brain just enough to make the experience unforgettable. A firm arm around her back tells her she's protected, contained, held. But when your other hand moves softly, tracing her shoulder or brushing her upper back with care, it introduces vulnerability, affection, and warmth. That combination says, "You're safe here, but don't think for a second, I'm not in control." And that balance, it's addictive. I've felt it myself. One man hugged me too softly. It felt like air. No weight, no presence. Another squeezed me too hard. It felt like pressure, not passion. But then there was one who held me firmly, with one arm on with the other, moved gently up my back, slow, deliberate, almost protective. My entire body softened. My chest pressed into his before I even realized it. My breath caught and my thoughts vanished. That's the power of contrast. That's the hug that rewires memory. Here's your rule. Mix your energies. Hold her steady with one arm. Firm, grounded, secure. Use the other toad light. Slow motion. Soft, curious, tender. This duality creates emotional confusion, and confusion creates craving. When she can't decide if she feels safe or turned on, she'll chase the answer. And the only place she'll find it is in your arms again. Trick number 8, the teasing squeeze. There's a difference between a hug she remembers and a hug she replays for days. The secret? The teasing squeeze. Most hugs end flat, safe, predictable. But when a man gives just the slightest squeeze before letting go, firm enough to be noticed, but not forceful, it creates a shock through her body. That small controlled burst of tension feels intentional, playful, charged. It tells her, "I felt that, and I wanted you to feel it too." This is where psychology gets dark, because that one micro move triggers reward-seeking behavior, the same response that drives addiction. Her mind starts looping questions she can't answer. Why did he do that? Did he mean it? Was it playful? Or was it desire? Those tiny questions become an emotional hook, one she doesn't even know you planted. I experienced it once. A man hugged me, held steady, then added that small teasing squeeze before letting go. It wasn't rough. It wasn't obvious, but my body reacted instantly. I thought about it in the car. I thought about it at night. It became a secret message only my body could read and only he could send. Here's your rule. Never overdo it. You're not crushing her. You're not claiming dominance through pressure. You're creating micro-tension, just enough to say, "I noticed you. without needing to say it out loud. Because when you give her just that small jolt before release, you turn a simple goodbye into a craving that follows her home. Trick number 9, the break first restraint, the craving trigger. Now we reach the secret women can't resist, the one that turns desire into longing. It's called the break first restraint. This is the moment when you end the hug before she's ready. You pull away, calm, controlled, deliberate, while her body still wants to stay. That restraint doesn't push her away. It pulls her in, because when you end the hug first, you create tension that has no closure. And tension without closure becomes obsession. This isn't just romantic. It's biological. Psychologists call it interruption reinforcement. When the brain anticipates pleasure, but doesn't complete it, it keeps searching for resolution, replaying the memory again and again, trying to finish it. So when you pull away before she's ready, you leave her body suspended in that unfinished loop. Her mind starts spinning. Why did he let go first? Did he feel what I felt? Was he holding back in purpose? That's when she starts chasing, not because she wants more of you, but because she wants to resolve the tension you created. I remember this moment once too clearly. A man hugged Mesolo, firm, confident, and then let go before I was ready. I laughed, pretended it didn't matter, but inside, my mind was spinning. I kept replaying it. I wanted to finish the hug. I wanted to understand why he stopped when it felt so perfect. That restraint flipped the entire power dynamic. I wasn't in control anymore. I was craving him. Here's your rule. Always be the one to break the hug first. Not too soon, not coldly, but with calm confidence. End it while she still wants it to continue. When you do that, you plant a psychological seed, unfinished attraction, and her body will crave the that never fully happened. Because now she's not hugging you in her arms anymore. She's hugging you in her memory. Trick nag grow your 10. The eye lock after release. Most men don't realize that the most powerful part of a hug begins after it ends. They let go, look away, fumble with their phone, say something awkward, and just like that, the moment dies. The energy collapses, but the man who releases her and then locks eyes for just 1 second longer, then feels comfortable. He doesn't just hug her body, he touches her mind. That tone lingering look makes the hug feel unfinished, as if he's still holding her, even though his arms are gone. It's primal psychology. Eye contact is intimacy. Raw, exposed, magnetic. When paired with touch, it creates emotional electricity. A hug without eye contact is formality. A hug followed by that deliberate silent stare is desire in its purest form. She'll feel it in her stomach, in her pulse, in the space between breaths. It forces her brain to ask questions it can't ignore. Why is he looking at me like that? Did he feel what I felt? Why won't he break eye contact first? And that's exactly why it works. Because she'll be the one who looks away, and in doing so, she surrenders control. I remember the moment that changed everything. A man hugged me, pulled back, but didn't look away. His eyes stayed calm, steady, unreadable. I froze. My breath caught. My chest tightened. The moment didn't break until I looked away first. But that second, that one heartbeat of silence, it replayed in my head for weeks. Here's your rule. When you pull away, don't rush to escape. Hold her eyes 1 heartbeat longer than normal. Calm, Not intense, but certain. Let her break it, because when she does, she won't realize. She's already chasing the energy you left behind. Trick number 11, the lingering touch exit. Most men disconnect too fast. They hug, let go, and their arms drop instantly. Clean, sharp, forgettable. But the man who lets his touch linger for just a moment longer, who allows his hand to trail softly as he releases her, he doesn't just end contact. He extends memory. That trailing touch across her arm, shoulder, or back creates what psychologists call a phantom imprint, a residual sensation the body keeps replaying long after it's gone. It's the same reason a whisper lingers longer than a shout. The softness makes the mind chase it. That slow sliding exit tells her body, I didn't want to let go, but I did anyway. It feels restrained, controlled, masculine, and that self-control is intoxicating. I've experienced it. One man hugged me, then, as he pulled away, his hand slid down my arm until his fingertips brushed my wrist. I froze. It felt like he was still touching me hours later. I couldn't stop remembering that exact path of his hand. Every other hug that week vanished from memory. They ended clean, empty, without a trace, but his lingered like perfume. Here's your rule. Never break clean. Let your touch fade as you release her. Let your hand slide slow and natural across her body. Not groping, not grabbing, just reluctant. 'Cause when your touch fades instead of ends, you leave behind something she can't wash off. Your touch becomes a memory that hums beneath her skin. Trick Chantra 12. Public hug frame control. A private hug can spark chemistry, but a public hug that defines your entire frame. Because when other people are watching, how you touch her shows her and everyone else who you really are. Most men shrink in public. They hug lightly, awkwardly, afraid to look too bold, too emotional, too masculine. That kind of energy doesn't make her feel proud. It makes her feel hidden. But the man who hugs her confidently, without apology, without hesitation, he makes her feel chosen, safe, claimed. And here's the dark truth. Women watch how you carry yourself socially. When you hold her with presence in public, it doesn't just make her feel secure. It raises your status. It signals to her subconscious that you're proud of her and proud of yourself. And that status shift ignites attraction on a biological level because women desire men who are desired by others. It's called the scarcity effect. When other women notice you, when they sense your calm confidence, you instantly become more valuable in her eyes. I remember once, Eamon pulled me into a calm, grounded hoogat, a crowded party. No rush, no tension, just certainty. His arm rested firm on my back, and he didn't care who was watching. That moment made me feel chosen, safe, protected, proud. Another man did the opposite. Quick hug, half-hearted, like he was embarrassed. That single moment killed half my attraction. Here's your rule. Never shrink your frame in public. Own Themament. Hug her with the same steady confidence you would in private. Hold your posture. Breathe slow. Lead the space, because when other women see it, and when she feels it, you rise in every woman's eyes, including hers. Trick 13. The whisper without words. Sometimes the most powerful part of our hug isn't in the touch. It's in the tension you don't release. Most men either talk too much or say nothing with no presence behind it. But the man holds in close, as if he's about to whisper something personal, and then says nothing. He creates a storm inside her. That silence feels louder than any sentence. It makes her crave the words that never came. This is pure dark psychology, because when you withhold something her mind expects, you force her imagination to take over. And imagination is the most addictive drug a woman can experience. When you lean in, breath warm against her ear, and then stop yourself, you hand her an unfinished mystery. And women are addicted to meaning. We fill in blanks. We analyze everything. She'll go home, wondering, what was he going to say? Was it a compliment? A confession? Did he stop because he didn't trust himself? And she'll replay that moment over and over until her curiosity turns into craving. I've felt that exact madness. A man once leaned in, like he was about to whisper something intimate. His breath brushed my ear, and then he said nothing. He pulled back, calm and unreadable, and I lost my balance. 4 days, I replayed it. 1,000 imaginary versions of what he might have said. That silence haunted me. And that's when I realized the most powerful words are the ones never spoken. Here's your rule. Create space for her imagination. Lean close like you're about to whisper a secret. Let your breath linger. Then pull back. No words, no smirk, just calm confidence. Because that silence will echo louder than anything you could have said. And when she lies in bed that night, her mind will whisper for you the truth behind the hug. Now that you've seen all 13 secrets, you finally understand. It was never just about the hug. It was never about physical tricks, gestures, or charm. It was always about presence. Because a real man doesn't chase connection. He creates gravity. Every one of these 13 moves, from the slow draw in to the whisper without words, works because it taps into something deeper than touch. It awakens the subconscious. The slow draw in isn't just about moving slow. It's about showing that you don't rush. You don't chase. You command pace. The hand on her lower back isn't about location. It's about claiming space with calm certainty. The release delay, the cheek brush, the silent hug, the eye lock, all of them work for one reason, because they communicate restraint, control, stillness. They tell her, you are not desperate for her attention. You direct the moment. You own it. And that is what makes a man unforgettable. Because obsession doesn't come from constant attention. It comes from the unfinished moment. The moment she can't stop thinking about. The touch that ends too soon. The silence that said more than words ever could. That's what burns into her memory. That's what makes her crave you even when you're not there. The psychology of craving. Most men think attraction is about giving her everything. Your attention, your words, your warmth. But that's not how desire works. Obsession comes from withholding, from creating tension that her mind has to resolve. When you leave her with unanswered questions, her imagination fills in the blanks. And what her mind imagines is always stronger than what reality could ever give her. That's the foundation of dark psychology. The art of emotional influence without words. The ability to plant a thought that grows in her mind long after you're gone. Because the truth is, she doesn't crave you because of what you did. She craves you because of what you didn't finish. Because somewhere between your silence and your restraint, you made her feel something she can't explain but can't forget. The regret effect. Here's what most men never understand. She won't miss the men who hug too quickly. She won't remember the ones who held on too long or tried too hard. but she will regret losing the man who hugged her like hell did. The man who knew how to hold and when to release. The one who made her feel safe but still made her body burn. The one who didn't chase her, but made her chase the feeling he left behind. That's the man she remembers when she's with someone else. That's the man she dreams about months later. That's the demon she can't replace, because what she's missing isn't him. It's the energy he carried. Masculine energy doesn't beg. It doesn't cling. It doesn't talk over silence. It attracts quietly, powerfully, inevitably. It draws her in, not because it's loud, but because it's calm. It's the eye of the storm, and every woman feels safe standing in it, even when she's terrified to admit it. The final lesson. So remember this the next time you hoa. You're not just touching her body. You're riding into her nervous system. You're teaching her how your presence feels. A hug can be forgettable, or it can be a psychological imprint. A moment that turns into memory. A memory that turns into longing. And longing that turns into obsession. But only if you know how to leave something unfinished. Because in the end, what drives desire isn't the man who gives everything. It's the man who holds something back. If this opened your eyes, then you've already seen the difference between men who touch and men who imprint. Hit that like button right now. Drop a comment below and tell me which of these 13 secrets hit you the hardest. And don't just watch once. Subscribe to The Hidden Moral, because every day I expose another hidden part of human behavior. The truths we never say out loud, but the ones that decide whether someone remembers you or forgets you. Because while you're hesitating, another man is learning what you just learned. And the woman you can't stop thinking about might end up craving him instead. So stay here, stay sharp, and become demon she can't stop obsessing over.